heard the old theatrical saying, to wish someone good luck, break a leg. Well, this week at dress rehearsal, one of our cast members, Steve Roseman, who plays the part of Reginald Bunthorne, broke his foot. The trooper that he is, he's going to play the part in a wheelchair, and I know you'll all be rooting for him.
of ours. Rivals as we all are in the affections of our Reginald, the very hopelessness of our love is a bond that binds us to one another.
Jealousy is merged in misery, while he, the very cynosure of our eyes and hearts, remains icy, insensible. What have we to strive for?
The love of maidens is to him as interesting as the taxes.
Would that it were. He pays his taxes.
And cherishes the receipts.
Happy receipts!
Fools! I beg your pardon. Fools and blind. The man loves. Wildly loves. But whom? None of us.
No, none of us. His weird fancy has lighted, for the nonce, on Patience, the village milkmaid.
On Patience? Oh, it cannot be.
But just yesterday I caught him in her dairy, eating fresh butter with a tablespoon. Today he is not well.
But Patience boasts that she has never loved, that love is to her a sealed book. Oh, he cannot be serious.
'Tis but a passing fancy. 'Twill quickly wear away.
But oh, Reginald, if you but knew what a wealth of golden love is waiting for you, stored up in this rugged old bosom of mine, the milkmaid's triumph would be short, indeed.
Still brooding on their mad infatuation, I beg thee, love, thou comest not to me. Far happier I, free from my ministration, than dukes or duchesses whose love can be. 'Tis Patience, happy girl, love
much on their minds. The truly happy never seem quite well.
There is a transcendentality of delirium, an acute accentuation of supremist ecstasy, which the earthy might easily mistake for indigestion. But it is not indigestion, it is aesthetic transfiguration. Enough babble. Come.
But stay, I have some news for you. The 35th Dragoon Guards have halted in the village and are even now on their way to this very spot.
The 35th Dragoon Guards.
They are fleshly men of full habit.
We care nothing for Dragoon Guards.
But bless me, you were all engaged to them a year ago.
A year ago?
My poor child, you don't understand these things. A year ago, they were very well in our eyes. But since then, our tastes have been etherealized, our perceptions exalted. Come, it is time to lift up our voices in morning carol to our Reginald. Let us to his door.
Coolness of Paget about to Pan, the science of Julian, the eminent musico, wit of Macaulay, who wrote of Queen Anne, the pathos of Paddy as rendered by Musico, style of the Bishop of Sodor and Man, dash of a Dorsey divested of quackery, narrative powers of Dickens and Thackeray, Victor Emmanuel, Conning Peveril, Thomas Aquinas and Dr. Sacheverell, Tupper and Tennyson, Daniel Defoe, Anthony Trollope and Mr. Guizot. If you want a receipt for that soldier like Paragon, get at the wealth of the Tsar if you can. The family pride of a Spaniard from Aragon, force of Mephisto pronouncing a ban, a smack of Lord Waterwood, reckless and frolicky, swagger of Roderick heading his plan, the keen penetration of Paddington Pollocky, grace of a nod of dishonored divan, the genius strategic of Caesar or Hannibal, skill of Sir Garnet, thrashing a cannibal, flavor of Hamlet, stranger a touch of him, little of Manfred but not very much of him, Beadle of Burlington, Richardson Show, Mr. Micawber, Inspector Clouseau. more on the scene of our former triumphs. But where's the Duke?
Here I am.
Come, cheer up. Don't give way.
Oh, for that, I'm as cheerful as a poor devil can be expected to be who has the misfortune to be a duke with 1,000 a day.
Most men would envy you.
Envy me? Tell me, Major, are you fond of toffee?
Very.
We are all fond of toffee. We are!
Yes, and toffee in moderation is a capital thing. But to live on toffee, toffee for breakfast, toffee for tea, toffee for dinner, to have it supposed that you care for nothing but toffee, and that you would consider yourself insulted if anything but toffee were offered to you, how would you like that?
I can quite imagine that under those circumstances, even toffee would become monotonous.
Yes, well, for toffee, read flattery, adulation, and abject deference carried to such a pitch that I began at last to think that man was born bent at an angle of 45 degrees. Great heavens, what is there to adulate in me? Am I particularly intelligent? Remarkably studious, excruciatingly witty, unusually accomplished, or exceptionally virtuous.
You're about as commonplace a young man as ever I saw. You are!
Yes, exactly. That's it, exactly. That describes me to a T. Thank you all very much. Well, I couldn't stand it any longer, so I joined this second-class cavalry regiment. In the army, thought I shall be occasionally snubbed, perhaps even bullied, who knows? The thought was rapture. And here I am.
Yes. And here are the ladies.
Oh, yes, but who's the gentleman with the long hair?
I don't know.
He seems popular.
He does seem popular.
Treatment for a military man. They're actually staring at us, sneering at us, cheering at us. Pretty sort of treatment for a military man.
Mystic poet, hear our prayer. 20 lovesick maidens we, young and wealthy, dark and fair, all of county family. And we die for love of thee. 20 lovesick maidens we. Yes, we die for love of thee. 20 lovesick maidens we.
Though my book I seem to scan in a rapt, ecstatic way, like a literary man who despises female clay. I hear plainly all they say, 20 lovesick maidens they.
He hears plainly all they say, 20 lovesick maidens they.
Oh, so excellently wise, for a moment mortal be, deign to raise thy purple eyes from thy heart-drawn poesy. 20 lovesick maidens see, each is kneeling on her knee. 20 lovesick maidens see, each is kneeling on her knee.
Though, as I remarked before, anyone convinced would be that some transcendental lore was monopolizing me. Round the corner I can see each is kneeling on her knee.
Round the corner he can see each is kneeling on her knee. Now is not this ridiculous, and is not this preposterous? A thorough case absurdity, ridiculous, preposterous. Explain it if you can. Now is not this ridiculous, and is not this preposterous? A thorough case absurdity, explain it if you can. Instead of rushing eagerly to cherish us and foster us, they all prefer this melancholy literary man. Instead of saluting at us, casting books indeed, blushing at us, flirting with the fan. They're actually staring at us, leering at us, cheering at us. Pretty so much treatment for a military man. They're actually staring at us, leering at us, cheering at us. Pretty so much treatment for a military man. No, it's not this ridiculous and it's not as preposterous. They all prefer this melancholy literary man. No, it's not this ridiculous and it's not this preposterous. They all prefer this melancholy literary man. No, it's not this ridiculous and it's not this preposterous.
Angela, what is the meaning of this?
Oh, sir, leave us. Our minds are but ill-tuned to light love talk.
But what in the world has come over you all?
Bunthorne, he has come over us. He has come among us, and he has idealized us.
Has he succeeded in idealizing you?
He has.
A good old Bunthorne.
My eyes are open. I droop despairingly. I am soulfully intense. I am limp, and I cling. Finished! At last! Finished!
Are you better now?
Yes, I am better now. Oh, it's you. I am better now. The poem is finished and my soul has gone out into it. It was nothing worth mentioning. It occurs 3 times a day. Ah, Patience, dear Patience.
Will it please you read it to us, sir?
This we supplicate.
Shall I?
No!
I will read it if you bid me.
You can if you like.
It is a wild, weird, fleshly thing, yet very tender, very yearning, very precious. It is called, Oh, Hollow, Hollow, Hollow.
Is it a hunting song?
A hunting song? No, it is not a hunting song. It is the wail of a poet's heart on discovering that everything in the world is commonplace. To understand it, cling passionately to one another and think of faint lilies. Oh, hollow, hollow, hollow. What time the poet hath hymned the writhing maid, lithe-limbed, quivering on amaranthine asphodel. How can he paint her throes, knowing as well he knows that all can be set right with calomel? When from the poet's plinth the amorous colocynth yearns for the aloe, faint with rapturous thrills, How can he paint their throes, knowing as well he knows that they are only uncompounded pills? Is it, and can it be, nature hath this decree? Nothing poetic in the world shall dwell? Or that in all her works something poetic lurks, even in colocynth and calomel? I cannot tell.
How purely fragrant.
How earnestly precious.
Well, it seems to me to be nonsense.
Nonsense, yes, perhaps, but oh, what precious nonsense.
This is all very well, but you seem to forget that you're engaged to us.
It can never be. You are not Empyrean. You are not Delacruscan. You are not even early English. Oh, the early English ere it is too late.
Red and blue, primary colors. Oh, West Philadelphia.
We didn't design our uniforms, but we don't see how they can be improved.
No, you wouldn't. Still, there is a cobwebby gray velvet with a tender bloom like cold gravy, which, made Florentine 14th century, trimmed with Venetian leather and Spanish alternates, and surmounted with something Japanese, would at least be early English. Come, maidens.
20 lovesick maidens we, lovesick all against our will. 20 years hence we shall be 20 lovesick
Gentlemen, this is an insult to the British uniform.
A uniform that has been as successful in the courts of Venus as on the field of Mars.
When I first put this uniform on, I said as I looked in a glass, it's 1 to 1,000,000,000 that any civilian me figure and form will surpass. Gold lace has a charm for the fair, and a plenty of that to spare, while in lawless professions when art and questions look eloquent everywhere. A fact that I counted upon when I first put this uniform on.
By a simple coincidence you could never have counted upon. The same thing occurred to me when I first put this uniform on.
I said when I first put it on, it is plain to the various dumps that every youth who will feel it will shoot in the ears with glamour at once. They will see that I'm freely go-placed in a uniform handsome and chaste, but the peripatetics of long-haired aesthetics are very much more to the taste, which I never counted upon when I first put this uniform on.
By a simple coincidence you could never have counted upon. I didn't anticipate that when I first put this uniform on.
Am I alone? And then observed, I am. Then let me own, I'm an aesthetic sham. This cynic smile is but a while of guile. This veneer is but an air severe. This costume chaste is but good taste misplaced. Let confess. A languid love for lilies does not blight me. Lank limbs and haggard cheeks do not delight me. I do not care for dirty greens by any means. I do not long for all one sees that's Japanese. I am not fond of uttering platitudes in stained glass attitudes. In short, my medievalism's affectation, born of a morbid love of admiration. If you're anxious for to shine in the aesthetic line as a man of culture rare, you must get up all the germs of the transcendental terms and plant them everywhere. You must lie upon the daisies and discourse in novel phrases of your complicated state of mind. The meaning doesn't matter if it's only idle chatter of a transcendental kind. And everyone will say, as you walk your mystic way, if this young man expresses himself in terms too deep for me, why, what the most singularly deep young man this deep young man must be. Be he eloquent in praise of the very dull old days which have long since passed away, and convince him if you can that the reign of good Queen Anne was culture's palmiest day. Of course you will pooh-pooh whatever's fresh and new and declare it's crude and mean, for art stops short in the cultivated court of the Empress Josephine. And everyone will say, as you roll your mystic way, if that's not good enough for him, which is good enough for me, why, what a very cultivated kind of youth this kind of youth must be. Then a sentimental passion of a vegetable fashion must excite your languid spleen. An attraction a la Plato for a bashful young potato or a not too French bean. Though the Philistines may jostle you, or rank as an apostle in the high aesthetic band, if you walk down Piccadilly with a poppy or a lily in your medieval hand. And everyone will say, as you walk your mystic way, if he's content with the vegetable love, which would certainly not suit me, why, what the most singularly pure young man this pure young man must be. Ah, Patience, come hither. I am pleased with thee. The bitter-hearted one who finds all else hollow is pleased with thee, for you are not hollow, are you?
No, thanks. I have dined, but I beg your pardon. I interrupt you.
Life is made up of interruptions. The tortured soul, yearning for solitude, writhes under them. Oh, but my heart is a-weary. Oh, I am a cursed thing. Oh, don't go.
Really, I'm very sorry.
Tell me, girl, do you ever yearn?
I yearn my living.
No. Do you know what it is to be heart hungry? Do you know what it is to yearn for the indefinable, and yet be brought face to face daily with the multiplication tables? Do you know what it is to seek oceans and find puddles? That's my case. Oh, but my heart is a-weary. Oh, I am a cursed thing. Don't go.
If you please, I don't understand you. You frighten me.
Oh, don't be frightened. It's only poetry.
Well, if that's poetry, I don't like poetry.
Don't you? Can I trust her? Patience, you don't like poetry. Well, between you and me, I don't like poetry. It's hollow, unsubstantial, unsatisfactory. What's the use of yearning for Elysian fields when you know you can't get them and would only let them out on building leases if you had them?
Sir, I don't...
Patience! I have long loved you. Let me tell you a secret. I'm not as bilious as I look. If you like, I will cut my hair. There is more innocent fun in me than a casual spectator might imagine. You've never seen me frolicsome. Oh, be a good girl. A very good girl, and one day you shall. If you are fond of touch-and-go jocularity, this is the shop for it.
Sir, I will speak plainly. In the matter of love, I am untaught. I have never loved but my great aunt. But I am quite certain that under any circumstances, I couldn't possibly love you.
Oh, you think not?
I'm quite sure of it. Quite sure. Quite.
Very good. Life is henceforth a blank. I don't care what becomes of me. I have only to ask that you will not abuse my confidence. Though you despise me, I am extremely popular with the other young ladies.
I only ask that you leave me and never renew the subject.
Certainly. Broken-hearted and desolate, I go. Oh, to be wafted away from this black Aceldama of sorrow, where the dust of an earthy today is the earth of a dusty tomorrow. It is a little thing of my own. I call it hot foam. I shall not publish it. Farewell, Patience. Patience, farewell!
What on earth does it all mean? Why does he love me? And why does he expect me to love him? He's not a relation. It frightens me.
Why, Patience, what is the matter?
Lady Angela, tell me two things. Firstly, what on earth is this love that upsets everybody? And secondly, how is it to be distinguished from insanity?
Poor blind child. Oh, forgive her arrows. Why, love is of all the passions the most essential. It is the embodiment of purity, the abstraction of refinement. It is the one unselfish emotion in this whirlpool of grasping greed.
Oh, dear. Oh,
why are you crying?
To think I have lived all these years without having experienced this pure and unselfish passion. Why, what a wicked girl I must be. For it is unselfish, isn't it?
Absolutely. Love that is tainted with selfishness is no love. Oh, try to love. It isn't very difficult if you give your whole mind to it.
I'll set about it at once. I won't go to bed until I'm head over heels in love with somebody.
Noble girl. But is it possible that you have never loved anybody?
Yes, one.
Ah, who?
My great aunt.
Great aunts don't count.
Then there's nobody. At least, no, nobody. Not since I was a baby. And that doesn't count, I suppose.
I don't know. Tell me all about it.
Long years ago, 14 maybe, when but a tiny babe of 4, another baby played with me, my elder by a year or more. A little child of beauty rare with mother's eyes and wondrous hair, who in my child a duty. No wonder they all look so unhappy. Upon my word, I hardly like to associate with myself. I don't think I'm respectable. I'll go at once and fall in love with a stranger.
Prithee, pretty maiden, prithee tell me true. Hey, but I'm doleful, willow, willow, waly. Have you where a lover a-dangling after you? Hey, willow, waly, oh. I would fain discover if you have a lover. Hey, willow, waly, oh.
Gentle sir, my heart is frolicsome and free. Hey, but he's doleful, willow, willow, willy. Nobody I care for comes a courting me. Hey, willow, willy, oh. Nobody I care for comes a courting therefore. Hey, willow, willy,
Prithee, pretty maiden, will you marry me? Hey, but I'm hopeful, willow, willow, waly. I may say at once I'm a man of property. Hey, willow, waly, oh. Money I despise it, many people prize it. Hey, willow, waly, oh.
gentle sir, although to marry I design. Hey, but he's hopeful, willow, willow, waly. As yet I do not know you, and so I must decline. Hey, willow, willy, oh. To other maidens go you, as yet I do not know you. Hey, willow, willy,
Patience, can it be that you don't recognize me?
Recognize you? No, indeed, I don't.
Have 15 years so greatly changed me?
15 years? Oh, what do you mean?
Have you forgotten the friend of your youth, your Archibald, your little playfellow? Oh, Kronos, Kronos, this is too bad of you.
Archibald, can it be? Why, let me look. It must be. Oh, how happy I am. I thought we should never meet again. And how you've grown.
Yes, Patience, I am much taller and stouter than I was.
And how you've improved.
Yes, Patience, I am very beautiful.
But surely that doesn't make you unhappy.
Yes, Patience, gifted as I am with a beauty which probably has not its rival on earth, I am nevertheless utterly and completely miserable.
Oh, but why?
My child love for you has never faded. Conceive then the horror of my situation when I tell you that it is my hideous destiny to be madly loved at first sight by every woman I come across.
Oh, why do you make yourself so picturesque? Why not disguise yourself, disfigure yourself, anything to escape this persecution?
No, Patience, that may not be. These gifts, irksome as they are, were given to me for the enjoyment and delectation of my fellow creatures. I am a trustee for beauty. And it is my duty to see that the conditions of my trust are faithfully discharged.
And you too are a poet.
Yes, I am the apostle of simplicity. I am called Archibald the All-Right, for I am infallible.
And is it possible that you condescend to love such a girl as I?
Yes, Patience, is it not strange? I have loved you with a Florentine 14th century frenzy for full 15 years.
Oh, marvelous. I have hitherto been deaf to the voice of love. I seem now to know what love is. It has been revealed to me. It is Archibald Grosvenor.
Yes, Patience, it is.
We will never, never part.
We will live and die together.
I swear it.
We both swear it.
But, oh, horror!
What's the matter?
Why, you are perfection. A source of endless ecstasy to all who know you.
I know I am. Well?
Then bless my heart. There can be nothing unselfish in loving you.
Oh, merciful powers. I never thought of that.
To monopolize those features on which all women love to linger, why, it would be unpardonable.
Why, so it would. Oh, fatal perfection, again you interpose between me and my happiness.
Oh, if you were but as thoughtless beautiful than you are.
Would that I were. But candor compels me to admit that I'm not.
Our duty is clear. We must part, and forever.
Oh, misery. And yet I cannot question the propriety of your decision. Farewell, Patience.
Farewell, Archibald. But stay!
Yes, Patience?
Although I may not love you, for you are perfection, there is nothing to prevent you from loving me. I am plain, homely, unattractive.
Why, that's true!
To love such a man as you, for such a girl as I, must be unselfish.
Unselfishness itself.
Though to marry you would very selfish be.
Hey, but I'm doleful, willow, willow, way.
You may all the same continue loving me.
Hey, willow, way, all the world ignoring, I go on adoring. Hey, willow, way,
Measure.
right sacrificial, by sentence judicial. This seems the initial, then why don't you run?
They cannot have led you to hang or behead you. Now may they all wed you, unfortunate one.
So tell us, we pray you, why thus they array you. Oh, poet, how say you, what is it you've done?
Heartbroken at my patience's barbarity, by the advice of my solicitor, in aid of our deserving charity, I put myself up to be raffled for.
By the advice of his solicitor, he's put himself up to be raffled for.
Oh, horror! Urged by his solicitor, he's put himself up to be raffled for.
Oh, heaven's blessing on his solicitor.
A hideous curse on his solicitor. A hideous curse on his solicitor.
A blessing
A curse
on his
A curse on his solicitor.
May we implore you, before our hopes are blighted, see before you the men to whom you're plighted.
Stay, implore you, for we adore you, to us you're plighted to be united. Stay, we implore you.
Your maiden hearts, oh, do not steal to pity's eloquent appeal. Such conduct British soldiers feel. Sigh, sigh, all sigh. To foemen steel we rarely see a British soldier bend the knee. Yet one and all they kneel to ye. Kneel, kneel, kneel. Our soldiers very seldom cry, and yet I need not tell you why. A teardrop dews each martial eye. Weep, weep, all weep. Our soldiers very seldom cry, and yet we need not tell you why. A teardrop dews each martial eye. Weep, weep, all weep.
Well, given international timidity, tickets for the raffle should be purchased with avidity. Put in half a guinea and a husband you may gain. Such as judge of blue and white and other kinds of pottery, from early oriental down to modern terracottery. Put in half a guinea, you may draw him in a lottery. Such an opportunity may not occur again.
Such as blue and white and other kinds of pottery, from early oriental down to modern terracottery. Put in half a guinea, you may draw him in a lottery. Such an opportunity may not occur again.
We've been thrown over, we're aware, but we don't care, no, we don't care. This fish in the sea, no doubt of it, as good as ever came out of it. And someday we shall get our share. So we don't care, so we don't care.
And are you going a ticket for to buy?
Most certainly I am. Why shouldn't I?
Oh, fortune, this is hard. Blindfold your eyes. 2 minutes will decide who wins the prize.
Oh, fortune,
how strong is love. For many and many a week she's loved me fondly and has feared to speak. But nature, for restraint too mighty far, has burst the bombs of art. And here we are.
No, Mr. Bunthorne, no, you're wrong again. Permit me, I'll endeavor to explain. True love must single-hearted be.
Exactly
From every selfish fancy free.
Exactly
No idle thought of gain or joy a maiden's fancy should employ. True love must be without alloy. True love must be without alloy.
Exactly so.
Imposture to contempt must lead.
Exactly so.
Blind vanity's dissension seed.
Exactly so.
It follows then a maiden who devotes herself to loving you is corrupted by no selfish view. Is corrupted by no selfish view.
Exactly so.
Are you resolved to wed this shameless one?
Is there no chance for any other?
None.
am a broken-hearted troubadour whose mind's aesthetic and whose tastes are pure.
Aesthetic! He is aesthetic!
Yes, yes, I am aesthetic and poetic.
Then we love you!
They love him horror.
They love him horror. They love me horror, horror, horror.
To his rival, and all, forsooth, because he looked with passing favor at a puling milkmaid. Fools, of that fancy he will soon weary, and then I, who alone am faithful to him, shall reap my reward. But do not dally too long, Reginald, for my charms are ripe, Reginald, and already they are decaying. Better secure me ere I have gone too far.
Sad is that woman's lot who year by year sees one by one her beauties disappear. When time
situation is enough to addle one's brain. Even marching won't cheer the men. The ladies of Mar rejected us not once, but twice, for one of those aesthetic poets.
Well, my brain is certainly addled. Have you any idea just what we did wrong?
Not I, but that is what we are here to discuss. Gentlemen, we have a serious matter to consider. It appears that we haven't quite caught the knack of retaining the affections of the young ladies.
That's the sad story of my life. Dragoon meets girl. Dragoon gets girl.
Dragoon loses girl.
Yes, I confess I never know quite what to expect when I appeal to the heart of a fair maiden. Sometimes she permits me to court her, but at other times my appeal is cruelly dismissed.
It seems to me that courting must be a subject susceptible of study. In addition to military training, we ought to have taken instruction from an experienced practitioner of amorous advocacy.
Himself to the trade and study all day in methodical way how to flatter, cajole, and persuade. He should prentice himself at 14 and practice from morning till eve. And when he's of age, if he will, I'll engage, he may capture the heart of a queen, the heart of a queen.
It is purely a matter of skill, which all may attain if they will. But every Jackie must study the knack if he wants to make sure of his Jill. If he wants to make sure of his Jill. If he's made the best use of his time, his twinkle so carefully lined, that every bird will come down at his word, whatever its plumage or climb. He must learn that the thrill of a touch may be little or nothing or much. It's an instrument rare to be handled with care, and ought to be treated as such. Ought to be treated as such. It is purely a matter of skill, which all may attain if they will. But every Jackie must study the knack if he wants to make sure of his Jill. If he wants to make sure of his Jill.
That a glance may be timid or free, it will vary in mighty degree, from an impudent stare to a look of despair that no maid without beauty can see. But a glance of despair is no guide. It can have its ridiculous side. It can draw you a tear or a box on the ear. You can never be sure till you've tried. Never be sure till you've tried.
It is purely a matter of skill, which all may attain if they will. But every Jackie must study the knack if he wants to make sure of his Jill. If he wants to make sure of his Jill. Of his Jill. Of his Jill. If he wants to make sure of his Jill.
The old, old tale. How rapturously these maidens love me, and how hopelessly. Oh, patience, patience, with the love of thee in my heart, what have I for these poor, mad maidens, but an unvalued pity? Alas, they will die of hopeless love for me, as I shall die of hopeless love for thee.
Will it please you read to us, sir?
Yes, child, if you will. What shall I read?
One of your own poems.
One of my own poems? Better not, my child. They will not cure thee of thy love.
Mr. Bunthorne used to read us a poem of his own every day.
And to do him justice, he read them extremely well.
Oh, did he so? Well, who am I that I should take upon myself to withhold my gifts from you? What am I but a trustee? Here is a decollete, a plain and simple thing, a very daisy. A babe might understand it. To appreciate it, it is not necessary to think of anything at all.
Come, let us think of nothing at all.
Gentle Jane was as good as gold. She always did as she was told. She never spoke when her mouth was full, or caught blue bottles their legs to pull, or spilled plum jam on her nice new frock, or put white mice in the 8-day clock, or vivisected her last new doll, or fostered a passion for alcohol. And when she grew up, she was given in marriage to a first-class earl who keeps his carriage. I believe I am right in saying that there is not one word in that decollete that is calculated to bring the blush of shame to the cheek of modesty.
Not one. It is purity itself.
This is simply cloying. Ladies, I hate to appear ungallant, but today is Saturday, and you have been following me about ever since Monday. I should like the usual half-holiday. I would take it as a personal favor if you would kindly allow me to close early today.
Oh, sir, do not send us from you.
Poor, poor girls. It is best to speak plainly. I know that I am loved by you, but I cannot love you in return, for my heart is fixed elsewhere. Remember the fable of the magnet and the churn.
But we don't know the fable of the magnet and the churn.
Oh, don't you? Then I will sing it to you. A magnet hung in a hardware shop, and all around was a loving crop of scissors and needles, nails and knives, offering love for all their lives. But for iron the magnet felt no whim. Though he charmed and iron, it charmed not him. From needles and nails and knives he turned, for he set his love on a silver churn.
A silver churn.
A silver churn. While his magnetic, very aesthetic fancy took this turn. If I can wheedle a knife or a needle, why not a silver churn?
While his magnetic, very magnetic fancy took his turn. If I can wheedle a knife or a needle, why not a silver churn?
And iron and steel expressed surprise. The needles opened their well-drilled eyes. The penknives felt shut up, no doubt. The scissors declared themselves cut out. The kettles they boiled with rage, 'tis said. And every nail went off its head. And hither and thither began to roam, till a hammer came up and drove them home.
He drove them home.
It drove them home. While this magnetic, peripatetic lover he lived to learn, by no endeavor can magnet ever attract a silver churn.
While this magnetic, peripatetic lover he lived to learn, by no endeavor can magnet ever attract a silver churn.
At last they are gone. What is this mysterious fascination that I seem to exercise over all I come across? A curse on my fatal beauty, for I am sick of conquests. Patience!
I have escaped with difficulty from my Reginald. I wanted to see you so much that I might ask you if you still love me as fondly as ever.
Love you? If the devotion of a lifetime...
Hold! Unhand me or I scream. If you are a gentleman, pray remember that I am another's. But you do love me, don't you?
Madly, hopelessly, despairingly.
That's right. I never can be yours, but that's right.
And you love this Bunthorne?
With a heart-whole ecstasy that withers and scorches and burns and stings, it is my duty.
Admirable girl. But you are not happy with him?
Happy? I am miserable beyond description.
That's right. I never can be yours, but that's right.
But go now. I see dear Reginald approaching. Farewell, dear Archibald. I cannot tell you how happy it has made me to know that you still love me.
Oh, if I only dared.
Sir, this language to one who has promised to another. Oh, Archibald, think of me sometimes, for my heart is breaking. He is so unkind to me, and you would be so loving.
Loving?
Advance one step, and as I am a good and pure woman, I scream. Farewell, Archibald. Stop there. Think of me sometimes. Advance at your peril. Once more, adieu.
Crying, eh? And what are you crying about?
I've only been thinking how dearly I love you.
Love me? Bah!
Love him, bah!
Do be quiet!
He always crushes me. Why, what is the matter, dear Reginald? If you have any sorrow, tell it to me that I may share it with you. It is my duty.
With whom were you talking just now?
With dear Archibald.
With dear Archibald, upon my honor, this is too much.
A great deal too much.
Don't you interfere.
Crushed again. I think he is the noblest, purest, and most perfect being I have ever met. But I don't love him. It is true that he is most devotedly attached to me, but I don't love him. Whenever he grows affectionate, I scream. It is my duty.
I dare say.
So do I dare say.
Why, how could I love him and love you too? You can't love two people at once.
Oh, can't you, though?
No, you can't. I only wish you could.
I don't believe you know what love is.
Yes, I do. There was a happy time when I didn't know, but a bitter experience has taught me. Love is a plaintive song, sung by a suffering maid, telling a tale of wrong, telling of hope betrayed, tuned to its changing note, sorry when he is sad, blind to his every mote, merry when he is glad.
gone wrong with me since that smug-faced idiot came here. Before that, I was admired. I may say loved.
Too mild, adored.
Do let a poet soliloquize. The damosels used to follow me wherever I went. Now they all follow him.
Well, not all. I am still faithful to you.
Oh, yes, and a pretty damosel you are.
No, not pretty. Massive. Oh, cheer up. I will never leave you, I swear it.
Oh, thank you. I know what it is. It's his confounded mildness. They find me too highly spiced, if you please. And no doubt, I am highly spiced.
Not for my taste.
No, but I am for theirs. But I will show the world that I can be as mild as he. If it is insipidity they want, they shall have it. I'll meet this fellow on his own ground and beat him on it.
You shall, and I will help you.
You will? Why, Jane, there's a good deal of good in you after all.
So go to him and say to him with compliment I'm wrong about.
Sing boo to you, and that I shall say.
Your style is most too sanctified, your cut is too commendable.
Sing ba to you, ha ha to you, and that's what I shall say.
I wasn't no ideal of the morbid young aesthetical to dumb. My inspiration was regarded as heretical until the company with your placidity inimitable.
Sing hey to you, good day to you, and that's what I shall say. Sing boo to you, poo poo to you, and that's what I shall say.
Sing hey to you, good day to you, sing hey, ha ha to you, sing ba.
I shall say, ba, ba, and that's what I shall say. I'll tell him that unless he will consent to be more jocular,
Sing boo to you, and that's what you should say.
to cut his curly hair and stick an eyeglass in his ocular,
Sing ba to you, ha ha to you, and that's what you should say.
to stuff his conversation full of quibble and avidity, to dine on chopped and roly-poly pudding with avidity. He better clear away with all convenient rapidity.
Sing hey to you, good day to you, and that's what you should say.
Sing boo to you, poo poo to you, and that's what I shall say.
Sing hey to you, good day to you, sing ba, ha ha to you, sing boo.
I shall say, ba, ba, and that's what I shall say. To be more jocular, to cut his curly hair and stick an eyeglass in his ocular, to stuff his conversation full of quibble and avidity, on top of roly-poly avidity, to better clear away with all convenient rapidity. Sing boo to you, poo poo to you, and that's what I shall say. Sing hey, good day to you, sing hey, ha ha to you, sing ba, ha ha. Sing hey, good day to you, sing ba, ha ha to you, sing ba, and that's what I shall say. And that's what I shall say. Ba, ba, and that's what I shall say. Be more jocular. Cut his curly hair and stick an eyeglass in his ocular.
to charm and please. Is there no tease? We've done our little best. We're not quite sure if all we do has the early English ring. But as far as we can judge, it's something like this sort of thing. You hold yourself like this, hold yourself like that. My hook and crook, you try to look both angular and flat. We venture to expect that what we then collect, though but a part of true high art, will have its due effect. Right. We hope you won't upgrade. You can't get high aesthetic taste like trousers ready-made. To use on medievism time alone will bring. But as far as we can judge, it's something like this sort of thing. You hold yourself like this. Like that. My hook and crook, you try to look both angular and flat. You cultivate the trim rigidity of limb. You ought to get a marionette and form your style on him.
Of making a lasting impression on these young ladies is to become as aesthetic as they are.
Oh, no doubt. The only question is how far we've succeeded in doing so. I don't know why, but I have an idea that this is not quite right.
I don't like it. I never did. I don't see what it means. I do it, but I don't like it.
My good friend, the question is not whether we like it, but whether they do. They understand these things. We don't. Now, I shouldn't be surprised if this is effective enough at a distance.
I can't help thinking we're a little bit stiff at it. It would be extremely awkward if we were to be struck so.
I don't think we shall be struck so. Perhaps we're a little awkward at first, but everything must have a beginning. Oh, here they come. Attention!
Oh, Saphir! See! The immortal fire has descended upon them, and they are of the inner brotherhood, perceptibly intense and consummately utter.
How Botticellian, how Fra Angelican. Oh, Art, we thank thee for this boon.
I'm afraid we are not quite right.
Not supremely, perhaps, but oh, so all but. Saphir, are they not quite too all but?
They are indeed jolly utter.
I wonder what the inner brotherhood usually recommends for cramp.
Ladies, we will not deceive you. We are doing this at some personal inconvenience.
confessing the extremity of our devotion to you. We trust it is not without its effect.
We will not deny that we are much moved by this proof of your attachment.
Yes, your conversion to the principles of aesthetic art in its highest development has touched us deeply.
And if Mr. Grosvenor should remain obdurate...
Which we have every reason to believe he will.
I wish they'd make haste.
We are not prepared to say that our yearning hearts will not go out to you.
By sections of threes, rapture!
It's extremely good. For beginners, it's admirable.
Oh, the only question is, who will take whom?
No, the Duke chooses first as a matter of course.
Oh, no, I couldn't really. You're too good.
Nothing of the kind. You are a great matrimonial fish, and it's only fair that each of these ladies should have a chance of hooking you. It's perfectly simple. Observe. Suppose you choose Angela, I take Sophia. Major takes nobody. Suppose you choose Sophia, Major takes Angela, I take nobody. Suppose you choose neither, Major takes Angela, I take Sophia. Perfectly simple.
If Sophia I choose to marry, I shall be fixed up for life. And the colonel need not tarry, Sophia then can be his wife.
In that case, unprecedented, single, I must live and die. I shall have to be contented with their heartfelt sympathy.
He will have to be contented with their heartfelt sympathy.
In that case, unprecedented, single, I must live and die. I shall have to be contented with their heartfelt sympathy. I shall have to be contented with their heartfelt sympathy. I shall have to be contented with their heartfelt sympathy.
If on Angie I've determined at my wedding she'll appear, decked in diamond and ermine, Major then can take Sophia.
In that case, unprecedented, single, I must live and die. I shall have to be contented with a heartfelt sympathy.
He will have to be contented with a heartfelt sympathy.
In that case, unprecedented, single, he must live and die. He will have to be contented with the heartfelt sympathy. He will have to be contented with the heartfelt sympathy. He will have to be contented with the heartfelt sympathy.
After some debate internal, if on neither I decide, Sophia then can take the colonel and she be the Major's bride. In that case, unprecedented, single, I must live and die. I shall have to be contented with their heartfelt sympathy. He will have to be contented with their heartfelt sympathy.
In that case, unprecedented, single, he must live and die. He shall have to be contented with the heartfelt sympathy. He shall have to be contented with the heartfelt sympathy. He shall have to be contented with the heartfelt sympathy.
It is pleasant to be alone. It is pleasant to be able to gaze at leisure upon those features which all others may gaze upon at their own goodwill. I am a very Narcissus.
It is no use. I just can't live without admiration. Ever since that Grosvenor came here, insipidity has been at a premium. Ah, he is there.
Ah, Bunthorne! Come here. Look. Very graceful, isn't it?
Allow me. I haven't seen it.
Yes, it is graceful. Not that. This.
Surely you don't mean that. Bah, I'm in no mood for trifling.
And what is amiss?
Ever since you came here, you have entirely monopolized the attentions of the young ladies. I don't like it, sir.
My dear sir, how can I help it? They are the plague of my life. My dear Mr. Bunthorne, with your personal disadvantages, you could have no idea of the inconvenience of being madly loved at first sight by every woman you come across.
Sir, before you came here, I was adored.
Exactly. Before I came here. That's my grievance. I cut everybody out. I assure you, Mr. Bunthorne, if you could suggest some means whereby, consistently with my duty to society, I could escape these inconvenient attentions, you would earn my everlasting gratitude.
I will do so at once. However popular it may be with the world at large, your personal appearance is highly objectionable to me.
It is? Why, thank you, thank you. How can I express my gratitude?
By making a complete changeover at once. Your conversation must henceforth be absolutely matter of fact. You must cut your hair and have a back parting. In appearance and costume, you must be absolutely commonplace.
No, pardon me, that's impossible.
Take care. When I am thwarted, I am very terrible.
I can't help that. I'm a man with a mission, and that mission must be fulfilled.
I don't think you quite appreciate the consequences of thwarting me.
I don't care what they are.
Now, suppose, I won't go so far as to say I actually will do it, but suppose for one moment that I were to curse you. Ah, very well then, take care.
But surely you would never do that.
I don't know. It would be an extreme measure, no doubt, but...
But you would never do it. I'm sure that you wouldn't. Oh, Mr. Bunthorne, reflect, reflect. You had a mother once.
Never.
Then you had an aunt.
Oh.
I see that you had. By the memory of that aunt, I implore you to reflect ere you resort to this last fearful expedient. Oh, Mr. Bunthorne, reflect, reflect.
I must not allow myself to be unmanned. Consent at once, or may a nephew's curse!
Hold! Are you absolutely resolved?
Absolutely.
Will nothing shake you?
Nothing. I am adamant.
Very good. Then I yield.
Oh, you swear it.
I do, cheerfully. I have long wished for a reasonable pretext for such a change as you suggest. It has come at last. I do it on compulsion.
Victory! I triumph! When I go out the door, of damoiselles a score, all sighing and burning and clinging and yearning will follow me as before. I shall with cultured taste distinguish gems from paste, and high diddle will rank as a niddle if I pronounce it chaste. A most intense young man, a soulful-eyed young man, another poetical, super aesthetical, out of the way young man.
Conceive me if you can, and an everyday young man, a commonplace type with a stick and a pipe and a half-bred black and tan, who thinks suburban hops more fun than Monday pops, who's fond of his dinner and doesn't get thinner on bottled beer and chops.
A commonplace young man, a matter-of-fact young man, a steady and solid, jolly bank holiday, everyday young man. A Japanese young man, a blue and white young man, a Francesca de Rimini, Pimini, je ne sais quoi young man.
A Jefferson Ward young man, a Black and Decker young man, a very delectable, highly respectable ivory soap young man,
a haggard and lank young man, a pallid and thin young man, a greenery gallery, Grosvenor gallery, foot in the grave young man,
a Genesee light young man, a Sears and Roebuck young man, a pushing young particle, law review article, Holiday Inn young man.
See me if you can, a matter-of-fact young man, an alphabetical, arithmetical, out-of-the-way young man.
Conceive me if you can,
a matter-of-fact young man, an ultra-poetical, super-aesthetical, out-of-the-way young man. It is all right. I have committed my last act of ill nature, and henceforth I am a changed character. Lum-da-dum-da-dum, la-da-da-dum-da-dum, la-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da- changed man. Hitherto, I've been gloomy, moody, fitful, uncertain in temperament, and selfish in disposition.
You have indeed.
All that has changed. I have reformed. I have modeled myself upon Mr. Grosvenor. Henceforth, my conversation shall blend amusement with instruction. I shall still be aesthetic, but my aestheticism shall be of the most pastoral kind.
Oh, Reginald, is all this true?
Quite true. Observe how amiable I am.
But Reginald, how long will it last?
With occasional intervals for rest and refreshment. As long as I do.
Oh, Reginald, I'm so happy. Dear, dear Reginald, I cannot express the joy I feel at this change. It will no longer be a duty to love you, but a pleasure, a rapture, an ecstasy.
My darling.
But, oh, horror!
What's the matter?
Is it quite certain that you have absolutely reformed? That you are henceforth a perfect being, utterly free from defect of any kind?
It is quite certain. I have sworn it.
Then I never can be yours.
Why not?
Love, to be pure, must be absolutely unselfish. And there can be nothing unselfish in loving so perfect a being as you have now become.
But stop a bit. I don't want to change. I'll relapse. I'll be as I was.
Waterloo House, young man, a stool and cross, young man, a steady and stolid, jolly bank holiday every day, young man.
Squares and rounds, young girls, Madame Louise, young girls, we're cheerfully chattering every day, young girls.
Angela, Ella, Sophia, what does this mean?
It means that Archibald, the all right, cannot be all wrong. And if the all right chooses to discard aestheticism, that proves that aestheticism ought to be discarded.
Oh, Archibald, Archibald. I'm shocked, surprised, horrified.
But I can't help it. I'm not a free agent. I do it on compulsion.
This is terrible. Go. I shall never set eyes on you again. But, oh, joy!
What's the matter?
Is it quite certain that you will always be a commonplace young man?
Always. I have sworn it.
Why, then, there's nothing to prevent my loving you with all the fervor at my command.
Why, that's true.
My Archibald.
My patience.
Crushed again.
Cheer up. I am still here. I have never left you, and I never will.
Thank you, Jane. After all, there's no denying it. You're a fine figure of a woman.
My Reginald?
Oh, my Jane.
Ladies, the Duke has at length determined to select a bride.
Yes, I have a great gift to bestow. Approach such of you as are truly lovely. In personal appearance, you have all that is necessary to make a woman truly happy. In common fairness, I think I ought to choose the only one among you who has the misfortune to be distinctly plain. Jane.
Crushed again.
Debate internal, I on Lady Jane decide. Saturday now may take the colonel, and she be the major's bride.
In the case unprecedented, single I must live and die. I shall have to be contented with the two that bore the line.
He shall have have to be contented with a tulip or delight. In the case of accidental single, he must live and die. He will have to be contented with a tulip or delight. Make it clear to one another to get married, they decide. Each of us to wed the other, nobody.
Thank you.